without you.
Continue, the LA Tenants Union is calling for an eviction moratorium. They say thousands of immigrants will be unable to pay their bills come July 1st because avoiding detainment is taking priority over going to work.
This militarization of our community, this occupation of our community, this terrorizing of our communities have closed down businesses, have taken away street vendors, have separated families, and then people cannot pay their rent. They have barely the minimum to survive. We need the city to put a rent freeze. We need the city to protect tenants that are going to be suffering this 1st of July when they're going to be receiving 3-day notices because they cannot pay their rent.
The union is also calling for a citywide day of action and organization on July the 1st.
My mom told me to just be myself and people would like me.
¿Vas a seguir entrenando? ¿Vas a seguir entrenando? Solo eso, Juan. ¿Vas a seguir entrenando?
Cumplir la pena de 2 años de prisión en el Centro Penitenciario de Corrección y Rehabilitación San Felipe de Puerto Plata, más al pago de una multa ascendente a la suma de 10 salarios mínimos del sector público a favor del Estado Dominicano, y en virtud de las disposiciones de los artículos 393 de la Ley 136-03 y 338 del Código Procesal.
Wander Franco was found guilty of going after young ones in his native Dominican Republic. However, the Rays shortstop dodged jail time despite pleas from prosecutors to put him behind bars. Franco was sentenced to 2 years suspended prison sentence by 3 judges presiding over the case in Puerto Plata Court. Conviction was unanimous among the judges and comes with conditions that need to be met. One of the sternest ones comes from one of the judges that said this: do not approach them for your own purposes. If you don't like people very close to your age, you have to wait your time, she stated. The once MLB player was arrested last year after he was accused of having a months-long relationship with a young individual when she was just 14, then paid off the victim's mother in order for her to consent to their relationship. Franco's lawyer, Ventura, stated that, quote, justice was not done and that she would appeal the ruling. The one-time Rays shortstop had also been facing other allegations and commercial exploitation against a young person and human trafficking charges, but was acquitted of those. Franco was 21 at the time of those illegal relationships with the female victim. The trial had originally been slated at the start in December before it was pushed to this month. The victim's mother was also convicted Thursday of trafficking her daughter and was given a 10-year prison sentence, along with having all assets acquired through the course of Franco's crimes seized. Franco was described as looking expressionless as the proceedings continued. Dominican prosecutors had called for Franco to receive 5 years in prison, and earlier this month, they stated that they had, quote, convincing evidence the Rays player had committed the crime. The accusations against Franco first surfaced online and posted on social media back in August of 2023, which have kept him away from baseball ever since. He has maintained his innocence since then, and speaking in front of the court Monday, he told 3 judges, quote, we expected justice. Franco has been on the MLB's restriction list since charges were filed back in July of 2024. Though the decision by the judges can be appealed, any future in baseball seems slim due to the difficulty he would face trying to receive a work visa in the United States with a conviction. MLB is also still conducting an investigation into Franco, and he could face further discipline under the league's DVNSA and abuse charges. Quote, we are aware of today's verdict in the Wander Franco case and will continue our investigation at an appropriate time. So I wanted to do this story for a multitude of reasons, right? At least three reasons. Number one, as I've stated before, you have a lot of these deviants directly out there where they are specifically, going after the family, right? And this is something that I've talked about a lot. Again, videos like this tend not to get any type of views at all. YouTube make sure, not to really push videos like this or put this within your feed or anything like that. That's what they tend to do, right? To keep a lot of stuff like this away from the public eye, right? Because I guess it's bad for advertisers or something. I'm not sure. I would think that this is something that would, be a pressing issue that should get talked about, right? And especially because of how high profile it is, dealing with the fact that this is an MLB star, has a major, more than likely multi-million-dollar contract and all this other type of stuff, right? And also, he's not even a citizen. He's from the Dominican Republic. And in the Dominican Republic back home, this is what he decided to do. No telling what potentially even happened here in the United States, right? They're only talking about back home where they have evidence. Number two, I want to point out the fact that you have the mother that is a part of the situation, and she received 10 years, meaning that the mother knew about the situation and she okayed the situation and received, I guess you could say prizes or whatnot, or whatever, payments for, allowing this to take place and happen. And one of the main things that I've always talked about on this platform that for whatever reason, a lot of people, especially women, don't want to mention is the fact that you have women out here that will literally do the exact same things, if not worse. And what this mother did. Clear cut. I've covered stories like this too many times, but nobody ever wants to talk about this again. Who are the main individuals who have the utmost access, who has the utmost control and the rights directly over the children? I'll wait. So then, statistically speaking, who would also be the exact same people that would allow or have insider knowledge of things happening? I'll wait. Because as stated before, it would be, theoretically, you would think it would be impossible for this to take place if you have a guardian. Even if it's one, you would have a guardian there that is monitoring, that is protecting, that is managing, that is watching everybody around the child, right? Theoretically. But obviously, that's not the case. And there's many more stories that might not even have anything to do with money where things like this take place and happen, and it is by the hands of a lot of these women directly out there. Basically, what I'm saying is you have the Preds out here, and then you have the mothers out here working hand in hand. Like I said, nobody's innocent at the end of the day. And I'm pretty sure that somebody out there is trying to weave a tall tale and trying to state that the mother is innocent. You got to understand her circumstances and where she's from. I'm not saying that she's right, but you got to understand how it is out there and the struggle and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure somebody is weaving a tale out there in order to make the mother innocent and to put 100% of the totality of blame directly on an MLB player. For me, I look at it, I'm an equal opportunist. I look at all of them equally. They all played a part equally. Everybody as an adult had a decision and they made the wrong one equally. That's how I look at it. I don't know why other people can't, look at it that way. They always want to try to make the women in these instances be the utmost innocent. Crazy work. Third of all, I want to highlight the fact that I have somebody, you should see the comment directly in front of you, have somebody pull up directly to the scene and basically state to me that they don't like the content that I've been doing over the time and that they're going to report. So they said, I'm reporting this racial dividing content like from now on, and you should too. Blacks and browns never had a single problem before 2025. Yo, that's some crazy work. I don't care if it's a troll or not. I don't even care. It's the fact of harassment. It's the fact of people trying to purposefully cause issues and problems, and it has to be highlighted. It needs to be highlighted so that it is documented. like I said before, this is something that a lot of black content creators have to go through. And the funniest thing is, when I've done a variety of other videos and I'm especially talking about stories like this, people like this never pull up to the scene. They never talk about, oh, I'm about to have, a certain type of energy for the people that you're reporting on because they're doing the wrong things and all, yada, yada, yada. Nope, never that. People will selectively watch videos, so specifically they will be offended and have something to be offended about and angry about. And then within that, they'll find a justification to do X, Y, and Z. Like I said, I'm just saying patient zero. This is what that, looks like. That's all I'm saying. Got this one right. So you mean to tell me that you want, so let me get this straight, right? So you come over here illegally, right? And you're doing whatnot or whatever, you're working on the streets. Now I just want to note to everybody else that doesn't understand, if I as a black man decided that I wanted to open up a food cart or some type of food business on the side of the streets, I would be arrested, thrown in jail, and whatever food that I have directly up there would be thrown in the trash, or they'll just put it all over the street, they'll destroy it, police will pull up and put water directly on it, right? I've covered videos like that before. So they're able to do this. They're able to 100% just illegally do all of this. They don't, there's no OSHA directly out there. There's no food handler's card. They didn't take any classes, nothing like that, right? So now that ICE is running them up, going all over the place, right? They're in fear and they don't know what they're going to do. And July 1st is coming up. Now they're like, yo, America, y'all got to do something, because realistically, we're not going to be able to pay our rent. And a lot of us are going to be out there on the streets, and it's unfair. Wasn't it unfair back during the pandemic when something like this was affecting all Americans, when it was just everybody? But I didn't specifically see them coming out and saying that all Americans, we need to pull up in solidarity. We need to do this, that, and the third, and all this other. I didn't see that happening. That was not something that was in existence. They pretty much minded their own business and kept doing what it is that they were doing, or, they figured out another method in another way, while every other American out here was struggling, while people were potentially losing, not even potentially, people were losing their jobs. They were getting fired because they were not following what it is that the government and other people were sitting up there telling them. And for whatever reason, everybody acts as if this never happened, as if this was just, whatever time period, fictitious time period. It's out of people's minds. But Petra's Farm remembers, right? And it's the craziest thing to know that this was actually a thing in America where people were losing their jobs. I'm talking about high-paying jobs. But again, you didn't see these immigrants stepping up and trying to speak for all Americans. No. They minded their business. And as an American, I'm going to kindly mind my business directly on this. Because again, rent been going up for the longest time possible in the United States. I didn't see them crying or complaining and saying that Americans need solidarity and we need to wake up and this. They weren't saying none of that. When American families were sitting up here losing their homes, families were being broken apart, people weren't able to pay their rent, their mortgage, their car, or whatever private school that people were sending their kids directly to, or a better school, to get them directly out of the trenches, the hood, whatnot, or whatever. I didn't see them showing up and trying to stand up for all Americans. Did not see that. But it's crazy how, knowing the fact that you got a lot of people here that are not supposed to be here, they could come up here and parade and throw that into the face of everybody else that did it the right way. And they can get preferential treatment. They can get protections. They can get money allotted directly to them for doing the wrong things. Like I said before, the only way that you can live the American dream is if you cheat. That's all I'm learning here. That's the only thing that I'm learning here. Like, it's crazy how she and other people are getting platforms out here for cheating, for literally cheating the system. That's some crazy work. But yet other people like Black Americans are told that you got to abide by the rules. You got to do this. You got to do that. Make sure to keep your nose clean, make sure to stand up straight and to walk in a single file line, and, go through high school and go to college, and, you'll be able to make the best directly out of yourself. Pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, they say, right? That's what they always say. Pull yourself up. Black, stop being victims. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And then I sit up there and look to my side, and I'm seeing people just doing whatever it is that they want to do. not going about it the right way. They're going past all of the classes. They're going past all of the paperwork. They're going past all of the licenses and everything that's needed. And they're able to prosper. And people are turning around and telling me that life is fair. What? Like I said, this is why I don't care about none of this. This is why I don't care about none of this. And this is why, you know, I have a unique problem with this whole situation. Because if at any point in time Black Americans were out here 100% just all in unison doing the wrong things, I'm talking about the whole totality, I'm talking about all what they say 30, 40, 50 million Black Americans all at the same time were doing the wrong thing, and then we decided to be in front of the United States as a whole, millions upon millions upon millions of Black Americans as a whole in front of America, and telling them that, yo, you got to sit up there and you know, do things for us. You gotta, you know, sit up there and give us preferential treatment, irregardless on us doing the wrong things, right? By the 50 millions of us, we're all doing the wrong things. You gotta sit up and give us preferential treatment. You gotta protect us. Nah, that's crazy. That sounds wild. That sounds wild. And like I said, I wish I could make that up, but look at what we're looking at. They're out there doing it. Like I said, you had months ago, we had how many illegal migrants out there protesting throughout the United States? How many? And like I said, just imagine if Black Americans did anything close to that. We would be considered demonic and criminal. Better yet, I'm sorry, we have been considered that. And we were just simply talking about police brutality, the treatment that we receive in this country. And not only were we just doing that to highlight how it is that we were getting treated and the lost loved ones that we have, but we were also doing that as being a voice for the others directly out there. They could have been white, they could have been Asian, they could have been Polynesian, they could have been Native American, they could have been Latin, they could have been anybody. But like I said, people are too deaf, dumb, and stupid to realize that when Black people stand, we are in a sense trying to be a voice for everybody. But people have so much hatred. People are so blinded. People have been trained to look at Black people in such a way that they can't even realize it. So like I said, it is what it is. And this is why, like I said before, let it all fall. That's the only way that a lot of people are going to understand, that a lot of people are going to figure stuff out. Everybody just has to lose. And that's the way that it just has to be. Because the only way for a lot of people to understand is through way of pain. And a lot of people are going to have to suffer and go through a lot of pain in order to realize how they have been tricked, how it is that they have been taught wrong, how it is that whatever ideologies they're following, they need to drop those right now because it's not beneficial. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything. Now listen in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.